Have you ever felt uncomfortable or even revulsed by a humanoid robot that is highly realistic? Welcome to the world of the Uncanny Valley, a term that describes this very sensation of discomfort and creepiness that arises when we encounter something not quite human, but eerily close. This phenomenon is not new, but it's becoming more relevant as technology advances, and we are increasingly interacting with androids, avatars, and animations. These creations strive for extreme realism, embodying lifelike characteristics and behaviors. But when they fall short of being fully human, they land in a disconcerting abyss known as the Uncanny Valley. Imagine watching a CGI animated movie or playing a video game. The characters might seem almost real, but there's something slightly off. Perhaps the eyes lack depth, the skin seems too perfect, or the movements are just a tad mechanical. This tiny gap between almost human and fully human can stir up feelings of uneasiness, even revulsion. It's not just about aesthetics or perception. The Uncanny Valley has significant implications for the field of robotics and artificial intelligence. As we strive to develop devices and avatars that mimic human touch and interaction, we must navigate this valley. If we plunge too deep, we risk alienating those who use these tools. In essence, the Uncanny Valley is a paradox. The closer our creations come to mimicking human likeness, the more they risk stirring up feelings of discomfort. It's like a tightrope walk, where the challenge lies in achieving a balance between realism and relatability without slipping into the unsettling chasm of the Uncanny Valley. But why do we experience this phenomenon? What's so unsettling about something that's almost but not quite human? And how can we overcome this barrier in robotics and artificial intelligence? These are some of the questions we'll explore as we delve into the Uncanny Valley. So, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a fascinating journey through the eerie, the almost human, and the strangely familiar. This Uncanny Valley, as it's called, represents a significant barrier in the field of robotics and artificial intelligence. So, where did this concept of the Uncanny Valley originate? We trace the roots back to the land of the rising sun, to a Japanese roboticist named Masahiro Mori. In the year 1970, Mori was the first to articulate this peculiar phenomenon, coining the term Bukimi no Tani Gensho. Translated, it means Valley of Eeriness. Mori was exploring the human response to his robots, and he noticed something strange. The more human his creations appeared, the more people were drawn to them. But this allure had a tipping point. When Mori's robots began to look almost human but not quite, people recoiled. They shifted from intrigue to discomfort, even disgust. It was as if they had stumbled upon an eerie valley, a chasm of uncanniness. That's where the term Uncanny Valley originates. It's an invisible threshold, a line in the sand of human likeness that, once crossed, triggers a primal, unsettling response. It took 8 years for the Western world to catch on to Mori's discovery. In 1978, author Jasia Reichardt introduced the term Uncanny Valley to the English-speaking world in her book, Robots, Fact, Fiction, and Prediction. And with that, Mori's observations began to resonate on a global scale. Mori used a variety of examples to illustrate his point. An industrial robot with its metallic limbs and cold, unblinking lights doesn't look human. As a result, it doesn't elicit much of an emotional response. But a toy robot with its humanoid shape and friendly features is more appealing. It's when we get to something like a prosthetic hand, so close to human yet not quite, that we plunge into the Uncanny Valley. The hand is lifelike, yes, but it also triggers a sense of unease. Mori's exploration of this phenomenon was groundbreaking. It offered a new perspective on our relationship with technology and shed light on the psychological barriers to creating truly human-like robots. It was Mori's observations that gave us the first understanding of this unsettling phenomenon. Mori's observations about his robots were intriguing. His work was groundbreaking in the realm of robotics, and his keen eye for human responses to his creations was nothing short of revolutionary. He noticed something peculiar about the way people reacted to his robots. The more human-like these machines became, the more appealing they were to people. It was as if people were drawn to the familiarity of their own species, even when mirrored in non-living entities. But this trend had a tipping point, a point where the allure of human-like characteristics started to wane. In the quest for perfect human resemblance, Mori discovered an unsettling threshold. When the robots looked almost human but not quite, people's reactions shifted dramatically. Instead of being drawn in, they were repelled. The sense of familiarity and comfort was replaced by unease and discomfort. The robots were in the Uncanny Valley. The Uncanny Valley is like an invisible line in the sand. On one side, you have robots that are clearly mechanical, and on the other you have humans. In between, there's a narrow chasm where things that closely resemble humans reside, but they're just off enough to be unsettling. It's an eerie place that triggers a primal sense of dread and revulsion, a place where something is not quite right. Mori's observations were not just about robots, though. They were about us, about our reactions and our complex relationship with our own image. We are comfortable with machines that look like machines and humans that look like humans. But when the lines blur, when the familiar becomes strange, we are left feeling uneasy. Mori's work plunged into the depths of this uncanny valley, exploring the contours of our discomfort. He didn't just build robots. He built a bridge to understanding our own reactions to humanoid robots. He showed us that our responses are not just about the robots themselves, but about our perceptions and the unsettling feeling that comes when something familiar becomes strange. Mori's work was a major step towards understanding our complex reactions to humanoid robots. His observations still resonate today as we continue to navigate the Uncanny Valley in our quest to create robots that are more and more like us. Now let's delve into some examples that illustrate the Uncanny Valley. Imagine strolling through a factory. You see an industrial robot operating machinery. It's clearly not human, but it's designed to perform tasks like one. You observe it, fascinated by its efficiency and precision. No unease, no discomfort, just pure admiration for technology at work. Now let's switch scenes. You're at a toy store and you spot a robot toy. It's designed to mimic human gestures and facial expressions. It's cute, it's endearing, and you're drawn to it. It's more human-like than the industrial robot, and yet you find it more appealing. But here's where things get interesting. You're now at a prosthetics exhibit. You see a prosthetic hand intricately designed to replicate every detail of a human hand. It's almost perfect, but it's not quite there. You can't put your finger on it, but something about this highly realistic hand makes you feel uneasy. This is the Uncanny Valley in action. The industrial robot and the toy robot don't trigger this response because they're clearly not human. But the prosthetic hand is so close to being human-like that it falls into this eerie valley of discomfort and unease. Let's take another example, this time from the world of animation. Think about the cartoons you watched as a child. The characters were human-like, but their exaggerated features and movements made it clear they were not real humans. You enjoyed these cartoons, you connected with the characters, and you never felt any discomfort watching them. Now, fast forward to a more recent CGI movie or video game. The characters are designed to look incredibly realistic. The animators have gone to great lengths to capture every detail of human facial expressions and movements. But despite their best efforts, these characters still don't look completely human. And that slight gap, that tiny deviation from reality, is enough to send you tumbling into the Uncanny Valley. And it's not just about looks. The Uncanny Valley also comes into play with behavior and movement. Consider a humanoid robot designed to mimic human behavior. It can walk, talk, and even express emotions like a human. But its movements are just a bit too mechanical, its expressions a bit too forced. Again, it's close to being human-like, but not quite there. And once more, you're left feeling uneasy and uncomfortable. These examples vividly illustrate the Uncanny Valley, a chasm between the almost human and the fully human. It's a fascinating concept that continues to challenge robot designers, animators, and anyone else trying to recreate the human form and behavior. And as technology continues to advance, the Uncanny Valley is a phenomenon that will continue to pervade our interactions with these creations. The Uncanny Valley has profound implications for the field of robotics and artificial intelligence. As we stride into an era where we are increasingly surrounded by robots and AI, the Uncanny Valley casts its long shadow. The phenomenon is not just a theoretical curiosity, but a practical challenge that developers and designers of humanoid robots, avatars, and AI systems must grapple with. Imagine a future where robots are our companions, our caregivers, our colleagues. A future where we interact with AI systems as if they were human. Sounds fantastic, right? But the Uncanny Valley phenomenon warns us that this future might not be as rosy as we imagine. The more human-like these robots and AI systems become, the more we may feel a sense of unease, discomfort, or even revulsion towards them. This can impact not only our acceptance of such technologies, but also our willingness to interact with them. Imagine a robot caregiver that looks almost human, but not quite. It might make us uncomfortable or even creep us out. We might prefer a robot caregiver that looks clearly robotic, instead of one that falls into the uncanny valley. Or consider an AI avatar that we interact with online. If it looks too human-like, we might feel a sense of unease or creepiness. The uncanny valley phenomenon could make us less inclined to use such avatars, potentially impacting their effectiveness and adoption. This presents a significant challenge for developers and designers. How do they make their robotic and AI systems human-like enough to be relatable and engaging without falling into the uncanny valley? It's a delicate balancing act and one that is not easy to achieve. Some developers are opting to make their robots and AI systems look distinctly non-human. To avoid the uncanny valley altogether, others are striving to make their creations so human-like that they cross the uncanny valley and emerge on the other side where they are indistinguishable from real humans. But crossing the uncanny valley is not easy. It requires not only advanced technology and design, but also a deep understanding of human psychology and perception. It's a formidable challenge, but one that many in the field are eager to take on. The uncanny valley is not just a hurdle, but also an opportunity. It pushes developers and designers to innovate, to think creatively, and to strive for excellence. It encourages them to delve deeper into the intricacies of human psychology and perception, and to use this knowledge to create better, more relatable robots and AI systems. In the end, the uncanny valley is a reminder of our complex and nuanced relationship with technology. It forces us to confront our fears and discomforts, to question our assumptions, and to navigate the delicate boundary between the human and the non-human. Understanding and navigating the uncanny valley is a crucial challenge facing robotics and AI today. So, the uncanny valley is a fascinating and complex phenomenon. It's a term that paints a vivid picture of the chasm we fall into when we see something nearly human, but not quite there. It's a feeling of eerie discomfort, a sense of unease, even revulsion, that manifests when we encounter humanoid robots or animations that are hyper-realistic, yet still miss the mark of being fully human. We've journeyed from the origins of the term, traced back to the 1970s when Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori first coined it. Remember, he described it as the Valley of Eeriness, an apt phrase that encapsulates the feeling perfectly. It's interesting to note how Mori found that our affinity for robots increases as they look more human, but only up to a certain threshold. Beyond that, we plunge into the uncanny valley, where the almost human appearance of these robots stirs feelings of discomfort or even fear. We've explored Mori's observations and studies, understanding how this phenomenon works. We've seen how an industrial robot with little human likeness generates minimal affinity. In contrast, a toy robot with more human likeness is more appealing, but then a prosthetic hand, highly lifelike, tends to fall into the uncanny valley, triggering feelings of unease. We've looked at several examples of the uncanny valley in action, from CGI animated movies to video games. These instances have brought the concept to life, showing us how the uncanny valley isn't just a theory, but a reality we encounter frequently in our tech-driven world. Perhaps most importantly, we've discussed the implications of the uncanny valley in the fields of robotics and artificial intelligence. It's a significant factor for those designing humanoid robots or online avatars. The aim might be to replicate human touch or interaction, but if these creations fall into the uncanny valley, they risk alienating the very humans they're meant to assist or entertain. It's a delicate balance, a fine line to tread, and one that designers and engineers must be acutely aware of as they develop new technologies. The Uncanny Valley is a concept that captures the uneasy relationship between humans and near-human robots or animations. It's a term that challenges us to consider how our emotional responses can influence our interactions with technology. As we increasingly share our world with humanoid robots and AI, understanding the Uncanny Valley becomes more critical. As technology advances, the journey through the Uncanny Valley continues, shaping our interactions with the humanoid robots of the future. It's a fascinating journey, filled with challenges and discoveries as we navigate our way through the eeriness of the valley towards a future where robots and humans coexist, hopefully in harmony. Thanks for watching here at Trippy Savage. Please like and subscribe.